You know, we've all been there. That sinking feeling when a brand new gadget dies, a service you paid for is just awful, or a company flat out ignores you. It is so frustrating, right? Well, today, we're going to change that. We're going to give you a clear, simple playbook to turn that frustration into a real solution. Let's jump right in.
So you've got a defective product in your hands, you've just had some terrible service, or you're dealing with a company that's basically a brick wall. It's so easy to feel completely powerless in those moments, you know? Like you just have to suck it up and move on. But what if there's a clear, powerful path forward? What if you actually have all the leverage?
And this is what we call the complaint conundrum. The real struggle, a lot of the time, isn't even the problem itself. It's the questions that come after. Where do I even begin to complain? How do I phrase it so they'll actually listen to me? And seriously, how can I get a fair resolution without this whole thing turning into a second job?
But let's try and shift our whole perspective for a second. What if a complaint isn't just you venting your frustration? What if it's actually an opportunity? A real chance to demand accountability and push for things to get better, not just for you, but for every single person who comes after you.
So how do we actually tap into that power? Well, it all starts with one simple thing: understanding your rights as a consumer. And this isn't some boring legal theory. This is the solid ground you stand on, the very foundation of your ability to get things done.
And when it comes to your power as a consumer, the magic number to remember is 6. That's because under the Consumer Protection Act, you are granted 6 fundamental rights. You can think of them as your personal toolkit in pretty much any dispute.
And here they are. These are the pillars of your power. You've got the right to safety, so products don't harm you, the right to information, so you know what you're buying, the right to choose, so you have options, and then the big ones, the right to be heard, the right to redress, which is just a fancy way of saying a fair solution, and the right to consumer education, so you know about all of this in the first place. Together, they're the legal backbone of any effective complaint.
But, and this part is absolutely crucial, it's a two-way street. With great rights come great responsibilities, right? The system works best when we all act in good faith. That just means doing your part. Keep your receipts, take a few photos of the problem, and communicate your issue clearly and politely. This balance is what makes your rights so effective, and honestly, it helps build a better, stronger system for everyone.
Okay, so you know your rights, you're ready. Now let's get super practical. We're going to walk through a really simple 4-step model that can guide you from I have a problem to problem solved, pretty much every single time.
See? It's a simple but really powerful path. Step 1, get crystal clear on what the problem actually is. Step 2, give the company a fair chance to fix it directly. If they drop the ball, you don't give up. That's when you move to Step 3 and escalate to the right authority. And finally, Step 4, you see it through to a real resolution. Following these steps gives you a structure so you're not just spinning your wheels in frustration, you're actually making progress.
So how does this 4-step plan actually play out in the real world? I mean, theory's nice, but results are what matter. Let's take a look at a few quick case studies to see this whole framework in action.
First up, something I'm sure many of us can relate to, a classic travel nightmare. Picture this, you've just landed for a big wedding or an important meeting, but your luggage is nowhere to be found. And the airline? Totally unhelpful. You're stranded.
Now just look at this transformation. You went from a lost bag and a dismissive, sorry, can't help you response to an amazing outcome. The bag was delivered right to the hotel, they got full compensation for the hassle, and a formal apology from the airline. See, that's the power of a well-placed, documented complaint.
Okay, let's raise the stakes a bit. Let's talk about your home. You've just moved into a brand new flat, all excited, but then you notice the kitchen tiles are already cracking and uneven. The builder's response? Oh, we'll just do a quick patch job. Not good enough.
And here is the result of standing your ground. By calmly presenting the evidence and pointing to the quality warranty in the contract, the homeowner turned that lousy repair offer into a full replacement of the entire kitchen floor, paid for by the builder, plus an extra 1-year warranty on top of it. Now that's a win.
All right, for our final case, what about those bureaucratic black holes? Let's say you applied for a simple PAN card reprint. Seems easy, right? But 4 months later? Crickets. Nothing. No updates, no response, just silence.
So after months of getting nowhere, a single, well-directed escalation to the income tax ombudsman completely broke the logjam. A new PAN card showed up in just 2 weeks. This just goes to show that even in the most complex systems, knowing exactly who to talk to makes all the difference in the world.
So you're probably noticing the pattern here, right? That third step, escalation, that's the real game changer. When your first attempt to solve a problem directly with the company hits a wall, you are not at a dead end. You just need to know where to turn next.
And this, right here, is basically your escalation playbook. For almost every industry, there's a specific regulatory body that is literally designed to help you. For airline problems, you go to AirSewa. For property issues, you've got your state's real estate regulatory authority, RERA. Banking dispute, the RBI has a whole system for that. Insurance, telecom, they all have one. Knowing who to call is the secret sauce that turns a no into a real solution.
So what's the big takeaway from all of this? It's really about empowerment. It's about realizing that knowing your rights and knowing the right process is what allows you to take effective, meaningful action. It turns you from a passive customer into an active citizen.
You should never, ever underestimate the power of your own voice. When you file an informed complaint, one that's well-documented and properly escalated, you're not just solving your own little problem. You're actually participating in a much larger system of accountability. Justice can, and very often does, begin with you.
So, the next time you're faced with a faulty product or terrible service, please don't just see it as a dead end. See it for what it is, an opportunity to hold a company accountable, to make a service better, and to improve the system for everybody. So the only question left to ask is, what change are you going to start?